Hi everybody, sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Igama lami Mdletshe, and on this channel siyasibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sokhuluma ngawo lama shows. Siyaphinda-ke futhi sikhulume ngama-celebrities kanye nama-YouTubers ethu ala eMzansi. If it's your first time joining me today and you think you like what's happening on this channel, please don't forget to press the subscribe button below. Kanti-ke if you've been around long enough to know that you want to be a member of the channel, there is a join button below. Kanti-ke if you want to give money to the channel or donate money, whichever term you want to use, there's a thanks button. There are adverts on this video. Please watch the adverts. And also, guys, you would be amazed at how much the like button helps the channel to grow, and it's free to press the like button. Okay, so please do that before you even begin to watch the video. Guys, so many of the ladies this season are having amnesia, and it's all of the new ladies. I'm gonna need them to go and treat this condition, okay? Because on Real Housewives, we do not need you to have amnesia. You know, if you say something, you will be asked about it later, and you need to remember it, and you need to be able to explain yourself. So Usane Nosli, I'm gonna need them to find a treatment yale amnesia yabo, because it's not working for me right now. It is not working for me because they have amnesia. Okay. Anyway, you guys, so they had to go back a little bit with showing us what happened last week. If you were not peppering, you will still be sitting here. Indoda yakusalisa two kids yakushiya kanjalo. Okay, listen, you guys, I'm in no way saying that as a woman it is acceptable that when another woman is going through something like that you fanele ugiye ngaleyo nto leyo. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, what goes around comes around. If you were not so sympathetic when another woman was going through something in her relationship, of course, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you when the same thing happens to you. And this is what is happening with Ulundi London. It is amazing actually that this episode, Ulundi London shoots a scene that is so similar to the scene that was shot by Ulasi last season, when she was just trying to redeem herself in terms of explaining herself in what was happening with the former president in their relationship, how it ended, and all of that. When in the previous season she wasn't willing to give an explanation, she came back to do that, and she does it with Sorisha, which no, 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 Lona, no, Lassie did it with Sorisha. Ulondi London has to do it with Sorisha and Ulokuzana. Is it any? Yes, you guys. So it's amazing. Impilo, yes, guys. Makuthiwa hlonipha impilo, like it's not even a joke, you guys. Hlonipha impilo, because life will dish to you what you deserve. And when they say there's karma, there really is karma. You will go through the exact same thing that the other person went through, that you bewukiya ngayo, bekujabulisa wena. So it's amazing what's happening with Ulondi London this season. But it is a sad story what she went through when a relationship ends, and you are, like you were hopeful about the future. It is sad, but we're going to talk about that. In the beginning, Usli, I guess she really is determined to show us that spiritual journey when it comes to her having a gift. I guess it's like a gift yokuba umthandazi, and they are going to emanzini bayo lokhuza entshongweni empuphumweni. I always feel like abantu brave. I think ngine-fear yamanzi nje mina, especially amanzi that flow like that. And uyongena emanzini uthi uyodlanjululwa. Listen, like I said before, ukuthi ngike ngasonto ezayona, ngikhule ekhaya kusonto ezayona. I have never understood why mangabe kuyongena emanzini they do it so roughly. No, gentle, just put me in the water gently, nicely in the water. Maybe that's what actually made me have fear of water too. They always do it so roughly, like what? Calm down. I'm still gonna go under and go up. What's the problem here? So they always do it so roughly. But she explains it to say, sometimes the journey is rougher to get to that place that you need to get to, even though I still feel like, but I still wouldn't want it for them to do it so roughly. Uye manzini, uyongena emanzini. So they do the whole process, yabo, and then they walk. When they were walking there by the caves and the water is dropping, I'm like, ha, bazoshibile gabawe, and then it's gonna be on Isoles. They were shooting Real Housewives of Durban, and abantu bafola baphoseka emanzini bamuka. Bengithi bazomuka. Anyway, you guys, that is that. But afterwards, she was saying that she was feeling so good about it. In fact, she's very reluctant to want to spend time with the group of the ladies because she feels like they're going to take her back, but she's feeling so much better now. Remember, last episode, she didn't have a good time. Usli, she had a hard time because obviously she felt like she was betrayed by Ononku, telling Ujojo what she had said to Kelvin. Guys, I feel like she did say it, okay? Does she remember that she said it? I don't know if she remembers, but I feel like she did. Definitely something was said, okay? And yeah, you guys. So the next thing it was Eni Kanye no Maria. I guess they're just getting to know each other because I believe that the person that brought Maria to the show is Ujojo. So that is the person that knows Maria from the group. That's why Maria was invited to Jojo's event, but she wasn't invited to Sorisha's event because Sorisha don't really know Maria yet. Okay, so she's getting to know the ladies, and she chooses Eni to get to know first, and they're going to ride horses. It's a nice outing. I think they enjoyed themselves. I thought that Maria would say that I ride horses all the time, but she was talking as if now it's the first time, just like Eni. So I was like, okay, okay. Okay, because last week when she was talking as if nje lezinto abantu abazibona bona zinto enkulu and all of that, and it's a normal thing that she does just on a normal day and whatever. So I was surprised for her to speak as if it's the first time going, riding horses. Listen, I haven't ridden horses, but I'm just saying for Maria, the way she was speaking, okay, it sounded like it would be something that she does. Like she wakes up in the morning and goes have breakfast while riding a horse, because that's how she was speaking last week. Anyway, they have a good time with Annie, and they start having a conversation about the event. And yes, so Maria always takes the opportunity to talk about Sorisha and complain about how Sorisha is not welcoming to her. Sorisha thinks she's the queen of the group. Guys, I don't know how it happens. Like I said in the other video, Usne in one of her posts does mention that the people that were supportive to her on the show was Umaria and Sorisha. So it makes me feel like Sorisha at some point they do start getting along with Umaria, okay? And also the fact that they start getting along with Usne. So I'm Usane. Did I say Usne? Usane. So it made me feel like, okay, it means eventually Umaria and Sorisha are going to work things out, but I don't know how that happens. And I don't know how that gets to a point where Maria and Suresh are getting along with Sane. I'm like, I can't wait to see how that turns out to be like that. Okay. So then, oh, Lono, and listen, one thing about Annie, it's not easy to become friends with her because she does have that mean thing about her. And she has an attitude of a bully. But I do feel like Annie is a loyal friend. If she is your friend, she is your friend, and she is Sorisha's friend. Okay, because when they start talking about Sorisha, she was not like, okay, yeah. She was like, oh, okay. That's very surprising to me because actually Sorisha is very nice to me. She's one of the people that have always been very warm, very welcoming to me. So I'm surprised that you feel like that about her. So I think honestly, Maria is trying to be messy because honestly, these people are already friends. You have found them being friends. So some of them are going to be loyal to Usoresha. But I felt like it was interesting how when Maria was talking to Eni about Usorisha was very different. The way that Eni responded was very different from the way that Jojo responded. And when we say Jojo is messy, but say namhlanje inyokanyana le. Ngisho sane, she is messy because she doesn't necessarily defend Usorisha, but I feel like Usorisha is Jojo's friend. But anyway, you guys, we're going to see how these friendships go. But Eni was like, no, actually, for me, Usorisha has been one of the nice people, but she doesn't say it in a rude way. She just didn't understand why Maria would feel that way about Sorisha. And she says, Maria, she wasn't invited to Sorisha's event. And, but, Sorisha doesn't know Maria. So, you know, but that's all that Annie says because you know what? I don't know why you feel like that, but I'm surprised because for me, Usorisha has always been nice to me. I like seeing that. I like seeing a loyal friend because it's been very hard to see that, except for Jojo and Unonku. This season, it looks like friends are going to be betraying friends, honestly. Now, it's Jojo, it's Unonku, and Usane are supposed to be going out somewhere in Morningside. Okay, I think it's in the morning or mid morning, and I don't know, you guys. I was like, these girls were not friends. How did they now decide that they're going to get together? And also, they look like at that last event, they were not very impressed by Usane. So, guys, if I say Snake, like get it, Usane, okay? By Usane. So I was surprised to see them that they have arranged that sit down. So they get there, Usane, Uchocho is already there, and they start talking, okay? And Usane is like, hey, Jojo, why are you speaking English so early in the morning? I don't think Jojo got that. And I don't think that when your English is your first language, you will get it. Like, guys, listen, you have to be prepared. It's so early even now for me to be speaking English. When you wake up in the morning, you want to speak your own language. So it was just a joke. It's like, why are you speaking English so early in the morning? you know? And Sane ends up asking Ujojo ukuthi has she seen Usli? Remember Usli Ben Ujojo, ended up having that back and forth, which Ujojo now in return asks also when I have you seen Ulundi London. This is where Usne lost me a little bit because then she starts talking about how she doesn't remember certain things that were said. But okay, let me get to that when Ulono gets there. Anyway, she says in the diary session, uyayisola ngento ayishilo kuLondi. She shouldn't have said it. In fact, she has bought tickets for uLondi London to go to Bali. She'll be it's going to be an all paid up trip for uLondi London. And I was like, oh, okay. So are you not gonna sit down with her and maybe apologize first? Because I think that if somebody does that to you and then the next thing they're giving you a trip to Bali, like no, I don't think the real London is going to take that trip, but I don't know, you guys. But I guess that's a way for her to say that she's sorry about what happened. And yes, you guys. But I also, you guys, because some people have been saying, is Usane that rich to be on Real Housewives of Durban? Other people have said that if you watch her Instagram, you will know for sure that she is loaded. I don't know, you guys. I think she's doing well. We are still to see, but I feel like the fact that she said that she could pay for the trip for Ulundi London also show that she does have money. And she does make a comment at some point that she doesn't depend on the men; she makes money herself. So and I'm sure they looked her up, my producers, before they put her on that show. Okay, so okay. Explanation Sane, because obviously they're talking about the issue Londi London was that now she just felt like Londi London was using her an excuse. She did not want to talk about her issue or what was going on in her life at the event. Instead of saying I don't want to talk right now, she said I don't want to talk right now because she is here, meaning Usane, and she felt like she was being used as an excuse. So that's why she responded the way that she did. But she still kind of sort of takes responsibility, but not fully, because when Nonko comes, it changes. Okay, so eventually Nonko arrives and she says Nonko she's planning a party, so obviously she's gonna want all the ladies there, and she wants to address some things that have been going on in a group. I already can see that event is going to be a mess. Okay, it's not gonna go well. Okay, if you plan a party and you want people to confront each other at your party, that party is not gonna go okay. And then she starts talking about Usane. What she said, Urogo, really makes sense. Listen, you don't say the things that you said to Ulondi London, some of the things you can't say to another woman when they're going through something, and I agree with that. This is where Usane loses me, because then when Unonko starts saying the things that Usane says, and Usane is like, I said that, what did I say exactly? And I was like, how? But you have just said that you are going to pay for the trip for Londi London to go to Bali for you to say sorry. So what are you apologizing for? If now when Unonku comes, you are asking, what did I say? I'm like, okay, I'm confused now. Do you remember what you said or do you not? Were you wrong in what you said or were you not wrong? If you were not, what are you apologizing for? She lost me at there. Anyway, you guys, so Unonku is planning for everybody to sort out issues with everybody at her party, which I don't think is a good idea. But this is Real Housewives. That's what we do at dinner parties. That's what we do at lunches. That's what we do at every time we meet, we have to discuss some issues that we have with each other. And then obviously she means that Usane no Londi London, I guess they're going to have to sort out their issue, which they might not be able to do because Londi London is leaving. And then her and Annie, and then she starts talking about to Annie Unonku. Okay. Unonku is Sane, but Unonku is a Kalma Sane and is a Sane that doesn't necessarily say things in front of people, say things to people's faces, but says it when the person is not there. Okay, remember, you guys, Sorisha gave Unonku a chance to say what she needed to say to Annie when Annie was there, and she still didn't say it. And last week, obviously, they tried to talk and it got disturbed by the whole commotion between Usli and Jojo and all of that. So it ended up they never finished talking last episode. Okay. So now she says that she wants to talk to Annie because Annie looks down on people, and she has to, bring it down a bit and whatever. Now Jojo is shocked because that is still happening. Like, I want to think that if friendship got Jojo no Nonku is a genuine friendship, but I feel like if you are a friend and someone is doing something and you think that what they're saying or what they're doing is wrong and you're a real friend, you're going to say, but friend, you're not supposed to say that because oh Jojo, I'm surprised that she didn't say Sunoko, but you remember because you got into trouble by talking about any engeko. Why don't you wait and say that when she's around? She says that, and Usane adds on to what Unonku is saying. Okay, remember, Unonku is already talking about, and this is gonna come out later. Unonku is already talking about Ueni, and not in a positive way. Because she looks down on people, she thinks she's better than everybody, she needs to bring it down. And then Usane adds to that and say, yes, vele fanele abukele abantu phansi. She should look down on people because now she used to be a PA that slept her way up to that mansion that she lives in. Now, when Usane talks, everybody's like, I'm like, but what's the difference between what Usane is saying and what you're saying? Because you're also saying she's looking down at people, she thinks she's better than everyone. And then Usane adds, yes, she should look down on people because Naya, she was a PA and she slept herself to that mansion. Now, George and Nolona, they're taking what Usane said as, okay, a big thing. It is a big thing. But it's what everybody has been saying here in the Twitter streets. Good to Vela, that's what happened. Anyway, she's also said because she used to be a dancer, and then her husband, she started dating her husband. She became a PA, from PA to the wife. Okay, you move up. So what she said is true, but it's nothing that has been it has not been said in the show. Okay. And now, okay, it's another bomb because remember Usane dropped a bomb at the event Kasorisha. Now she's dropping another one while they are sitting with Unonku, and they are sitting with Uvovo liyavuza uJojo. uJojo, we must stop calling her Jojo and call her Vovo. Ngoba liyavuza lela Vovo leliana. If you if you say something Jojo, she will, snitch on you. And ngeke snitch to tell the person. She will tell everybody. And this is exactly what she does this episode, okay? Okay, then the next scene, it was Usorisha no Annie. I guess they at Sorisha's house, and Ulundi is gonna come. And honestly, I think that you guys, I don't know if it was Ulundi London who said to the producers, yes, I'm not gonna do the show this season, but I do want to come and explain a little bit about my side of the story. I want to tell my side of the story. That is possible. It's also possible that the producers said, listen, a lot happened last season and that you did not bring to the show. People have questions about your relationship because you presented a relationship to be this perfect relationship, and then at the reunion also it wasn't brought up because things were already happening at the reunion with her relationship. Things were already out online. People were talking about how her husband is cheating and all of that, and there's a pregnant side chick and all of that, but they didn't bring it up at the reunion. They didn't discuss it and decide at the reunion. So I think even though the producers felt that they might not need her to come back, but they needed her to come back just to explain that. So I think that this scene was basically that it was Londi London coming to tell her side of the story. So they're having tea, of course. They're at Sorisha's house. They're having green tea, and they ask her how she feels about Usane, which she says, who is that? Okay. It's surprising, honestly, because when Ulundi London walks in at the last party, it almost seemed like they knew each other. They were talking, girl, unjani. Ulundi London was not saying, yeah, girl, but ubani wena. Initially it was like, girl, I was just around. I've been busy with the events. How was your event? It was like this. How was the turn up? By the way, the event they're talking about is that event where Ulundi London never paid the waiters or the waitresses their tips. There's a story like that. God, that's the collab. Anyway, so it looked like they knew each other, and then all of a sudden now she doesn't know Usane. Listen, you guys. From this episode, it wasn't said on this episode, but I'm getting the feeling that every single lady on the cast know Usane. They know Usane, or they know of Usane. They're just not connecting the dot to Uban, because as soon as you realize which Sane this Sane is, it's either you are shocked and you don't want to be associated with her, or you like, oh, this is the Sane. And I feel like they know because they're talking about Usane being this journalist who had a gossip column, and it means ukuthi unezindaba nje bekhuluma ngabantu who used to be PAs and slept their way up to the mentions. She knows everybody's business, even Sorishas, I am telling you. Ooh, I need the person that thought about Sane to come on the show. I need that person to say thank you. I feel like Usane uphethe ama-files somehow. But I need her to remember ama-files awadrophayo because they're going to come back to her. And also we are going to have to know the details about these files that she's dropping at the reunion. So she has to stop with this thing of her not remembering what she has said, okay? So obviously Londi London is like she doesn't know who Ulokuzana is, who Usane is, okay? So they end up asking her for an update on what's happening in her relationship. Basically what she's saying, guys, is that what was going on in line about the pregnant side chick, she's never met that lady. She doesn't know anything about that lady. There is no pregnant, there's no child. There was no pregnant lady because there's still no child, okay? But there's a lot that happened in the relationship. It was like she is telling the story, but not really, because I wanted her to say, this is what happened in my relationship. I found out he was cheating, and this is what happened. And then we decided, there was a time, but she doesn't really. She says, go to had differences in beliefs, and they just didn't gel. I'm like, hey, yeah. You are saying something, but nothing at the same time, okay? And then they decided to go their separate ways. But she's clear to say that it's been very hard. In fact, her second pregnancy was a very, very lonely journey. And as it stands, that taxi driver looking husband, because he does with that sport, ngathi nje uzothi 4 masihlalisane. Uthi akabanaka abantwana, guys, which is really sad. And she really was crying about it. It was sad. She's gone through a lot, okay? She has gone through a lot. Listen, you guys, there are times there were moments where I wasn't sure whether Ulundi London is crying about a man or is crying about a man's possessions, because sometimes you don't know with these, influencers, are you sad to go to now you don't live in that house? You're not driving those cars, and now you're not a real housewife now? Or are you said ukuthi, really the relationship, your relationship did not work out? Are you crying about a man, or are you crying about a man's stuff? And yes, you guys, because would Ulundi London really have dated that guy? Guys, niyamazi babengane ngalondi, niyamazi, like, would she have dated that guy if that guy was just an average guy that wasn't known to have a lot of money? I doubt. So sometimes I can't make a decision on whether I believe her when she's crying. Is she crying about a relationship, or is she crying about, oh my God, like, now I have to think about buying myself a car and paying my own rent, and you know what I mean. But it is said, you guys, that now she is a single mother that she wasn't planning to be, and now of course she has to take care of two kids that this guy is not taking care of. Okay. One thing that she says, you guys, that I thought was very important, she said, did I write it down? But I will remember, you guys. But something that indicates you must never sleep on yourself. Yes, I think she said that. Don't sleep on yourself because of a man, which is something that you must never do. Well, don't stop your life because of a man. If you have dreams, you have a job, you have, or jobs, or you have businesses, continue with your life. Now you have met this rich man. Now you've given up on your music. Now you are not influencing as much as you used to influence, because now, Pela, you've seen this money that is not yours. Now you're driving these cars that are not yours. You leave everything when you focus on this man. This man leaves you and focuses on other women. She said something like that. Don't sleep on yourself because of a man. You must always be on top of things in terms of building your own things. Anyway, you guys, yeah, you guys. So she tells her story. The cheating allegations were there, but obviously it wasn't the girl that we think it was. That all the stories were online, and they cry about it. Even Annie was crying. I was like, what show are we watching? Because Annie never cries. Annie is mean. Annie don't care about nobody's feelings. I'm like, "Kwenzekalani lana, lana? Are we watching?" The way things have changed on Real Housewives, I was like, huh? Annie is crying. Hayi. I-realize wazizokushintsha. You have Messi, Sorisha, and then you have a crying Annie. How things have gone. Hey. So anyway, you guys, they were just comforting her, I guess, just being good friends to her with Sorisha. And it was sad to watch her tell that story, but it's a life. We go through stuff sometimes. That's why it's important that when a person is going through something, you are compassionate. Instead of just being like, like Usane is. By the way, Usane, when they're having a sit down with Unonku, and Unonku was saying, you don't say that to a woman because in the future you might go through that. Usane is like, but how would I go through that? I make my own money. I don't depend on a man. So how is a man going to share me when By the way, you guys, there is a story time that she does on her channel, Lusane, where she talks about how she was swindled by this one man. It's such a funny story, but at the same time, it has so many lessons. She was engaged, but with the ring that never came. You must go watch her channel. Her story times are quite interesting. Anyway, I think Usane needs to speak to Unoku, because that man is giving me swingler energy. He is, honestly. The next scene, the swingler comes. Okay, to swinger. So the man comes at Nonko's house, calls Nonko, come down, darling, okay? Ngifuna ungibambisa something, comes down, he hands her the flowers, and then ta-da, the car. I think the car that he bought, it matches his car. It's a new car. How? But I was like, this guy might be petal. Because angizazi imoto, but that car looks like the car that Mr. Petal bought for Ulasi. It's just that Mr. Petal, we never met Ulasi. We never met Mr. Petal, but Mr. Petal bought Ulasi some car at some point. I was like, isn't this the same car that Mr. Petal bought? This guy might actually be Mr. Petal. Anyway, you got that guy, listen. Remember, Unonko said last week, because they haven't been dating for long. They haven't even been to many dates. Nonko doesn't know where this guy lives, or maybe she knows, but she's never been there because every time they meet, they have to book. They have to book a place or a hotel or something to go and spend time there. Because I guess maybe Unonko doesn't want him to spend time at her house because she's still getting to know the guy and she has kids. Okay, and also remember, Unonko Pela has been withholding, you know. So they haven't been intimate. Unonko is only celebrating the breaking of the whatever now, celibacy party, I think, now. So basically, this guy is trying to convince Unonko that he deserves it. And that's why he's doing. Had it not been for the fact that this guy just gives me, weird feelings, I would be like, wow, Unonko has really found love. And I want it for Unonko, guys, because I like Unonko. And that's one thing that Unonko has talked about since the beginning of the show, that she really would like to find love. So I would love for her to find love. However, you guys, I just feel like this guy is not it for her. I wish it was different. It just gives me the creeps. Anyway, we'll see how this relationship goes. But yes, he bought her a car. Nonko is like, why would you buy me a car? He's like, I'm being romantic. You're being romantic by buying me a car. But obviously, she was happy that she received a car. Okay. And in the next scene, you guys, it was Sorisha and the kids. Sorisha has been constantly talking about how Vivian is not spending enough time with the kids, not spending enough time at home, and all of that. And then I guess the kids are growing up, and now they are feeling that their dad is not around. Even when he's around, they're trying to talk to him. He's not really listening. And they're about to be adults, and he's not there. And part of me feels like, I guess that's the price to pay to live that kind of a life, because of course your husband has to be away all the time. But I feel like I'm sure he could hire some people to do some things and spend time with his family. So part of me doesn't understand why he wouldn't make time to just spend quality time with his family. But she does have those complaints, Sorisha, that Vivian is not spending enough time at home. So I think the next scene, Sorisha is visiting Annie, and they talk about a dog. Le nje le yini ilokhuza ivithike kanje, because u-Annie ubegcwele nje uboya benje. She was even taking it out. I'm like, that's why I don't like dogs. Anyway, again, they're dog lovers, so they speak about dogs like iy'ngane zabo. Anyway, so then after the dog talk, they talk about Usane. So Annie is trying to find out, so Risha, where did you find Usane? Because Annie does say Usane was invited by Sorisha. So contrary to popular demand, Usane didn't just show up at that event. She was actually invited by Usorisha. Okay. So now Sorisha is like, no, I met her at some event, and I was like, you know me, I'm nice. So I was like, girl, I've got this event coming up, come. So then Annie starts talking about who Usane is. Listen, girl, do you know who you just invited to your event? She pulls up Google screenshots, Usane, the connection with the kidnapping case and all of that. Lona is shocked. Okay. This is when I think Usorisha connected the dots as to who Usane is, because her attitude, Ngosane, changes. She starts talking about how she's not gonna be there when Sane is there. When Usane walks in, she's going to walk out. I actually think Usane might possibly have, something on Sorisha. Uncle Reddy suspects. I feel like the way that Usorisha is now all of a sudden so nervous about Usane not liking her, she's not gonna be in the same room with her. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, but it was interesting to get the old Annie in this scene, because she did go and Google Usane. When everybody's not Googling Usane, she went and Googled Usane. Okay. And also, Indian Solisa Usane has something on Sorisha, is that they do say that at the end they become friends. Maybe she figures out the only thing to prevent this woman from coming from me is for me to become friends with her. Okay. So now they talk about Maria. And obviously tells also Risha what Maria said about her. So she's like, I don't even know this woman. Why would she be talking about me? Why would she be complaining about not coming to my event? Angimazi, I wouldn't have invited her if banging Amazi. So, but she says, goes, okay, fine. I will try and make friends with her and make conversations with her because they are going to Nonku's party soon. Okay. Okay, so the next thing it's when Usli actually calls Unonku because she calls Unonku to go and talk to her. It didn't look like she wants to do it. I guess it was just one of those things where they had to shoot a scene together, so she had to go. She goes to Nonku's house. She says she sort of wants to get an explanation as to what happened at the event because she was feeling like she wasn't supported by her friend. Okay, so Noko is sitting outside, gets there. Noko once is trying to be warm to Slee. Slee is very cold. I didn't understand. Slee, this episode, I was like, what's happening with this one? Something is off mostly. Now I'm starting to see what people are saying, okay? She's cold. Noko is trying to give her a hug. She's cold. Partly I understand, I guess, because obviously she feels betrayed by Unoko. Her issue is that, of course, the whole thing happened and then she expected Utunonku was going to have her back. At least when she was walking out of the party upset, Unonku should have followed her, but she didn't. So she's just wondering what is happening here. Are you my friend or not? Okay. And she feels like the whole thing was premeditated. Okay, I do feel like Unongo possibly did have a conversation with George, but she does say because they met earlier on that day. So Unongo obviously did know that that was going to be Usli was going to be confronted at the party, and she didn't tell Usli. Unongo is laughing off the idea yokuthi she premeditated the whole thing, but I think that she did because she did talk to Ujojo. However, Unongo is still standing by the words Zoguti, no, Mngani, you did say that to Kevin that you were single, that he was going to find you a rich man. And Unongo is saying she doesn't understand whether Usli just is lying or she really honestly doesn't remember what happening, meaning she's having amnesia. At this point, you guys, I feel like no, Usli has to tell a different story because honestly, I feel like she did say that. You know, maybe she doesn't remember, but it's hard for her to not remember to remember what happened that night, except for this one thing. But listen to what Usane says. Usane, hayi bo ngiyaphambanisa. Usli says ukuthi Kevin is the one that when they were away from everybody else asked her ukuthi, who are you dating or who are you married to? So I guess she wanted to know her husband. So the conversation was initiated by Kelvin. Okay, Nogu is saying, I don't know anything about that. What I know is what I heard you say was that you told Kelvin that you were single and he was going to find you a rich man. Okay, so they are not, it's hard for them to come together now and resolve this issue because Unonku is saying, Ngani, you said it. Usli is saying you did not say it. Okay. Noko is like, listen, my friend, I like you. I'm not gonna lie about what you said and what you didn't say. I like you. By the way, it was your birthday, and I was due to give you a birthday gift, so I'm going to give it to you. Okay, which ends up being a dress. In the diary session, Usli shows us the dress. She says it's a nice dress, but it's a wrong size, so she will send it back to Nuku. She really sounds upset about the whole thing, you guys. But she's becoming extra, extra cold about the whole thing that it makes me feel like she's acting like a guilty person, Usli. And I feel like Unonku, in this scene at least, she was trying to make things up, make up with her friend, but she wasn't also, I feel like she wasn't willing to lie and say, oh, okay, friend, no, you didn't say it, because she's not willing to sacrifice Ujojo in that process. Okay, so the whole thing is still not resolved. Usli is still not trusting Unonkum, and I think that with the gift she just really shouldn't have taken the gift instead of taking it, and then now she's going to send it back.